Here are the 7 iron rules that you have to follow to succeed. Make sure you guys watch until the very end so you don't make any of these common mistakes that most guys are making. Number 1 is when opening a girl, open her with something unique about her profile, right? So here's an example. You see this girl's fancy dress, right? So a good opener might be something like, I got your outfit all picked out for a date already. A common mistake guys make is they open the girl with something about her bio, but that's what every guy's doing. You want to be a little bit more creative, open her with something about her photos. Here's another good example. So she's just holding some wine, save some wine for me with a winky face. Good opener. And here we have this girl kind of looking like she's a little bit of a DTF slut. And the opener is, give me that look in your white shirt in person and see what happens. And the girl responds, you think you can handle Brad? My favorite. So there we go. So always try to open the girl with something unique about her photos if you come up with something. Number 2, alternate get to know you questions with humor and flirting. A common mistake guys make is that they'll either just do full on like question, get to know you mode, which is boring, or they'll just try to be funny, over the top, flirty, but then the girl doesn't feel like you really give a shit about getting to know her. So you want to alternate these two things. Here's a good example. I open the girl with, hey, trouble. She says, you speak Russian. And she says, it was a while ago, so I've forgotten a lot of what I've learned, as she says something in Russian. I say, yes, I was born in Minsk. They say practice makes perfect. She says, truth, I barely met anyone who speaks Russian here, so I'm definitely out of practice. And here I say the first flirty thing, it's okay, I'll be sure to seductively whisper a few choice Russian phrases in your ear. She says, you're forward, but I like that so. And I say, good, you're submissive, I'm guessing? She says, haha, you guessed correctly. I say, perfect, I can order you around in Russian, make learning fun. So again, I'm alternating serious statements with flirty, humorous statements. She says, won't complain about that. Here I ask her another serious question. What is your biggest turn-on fantasy? She says, that's actually a tough one. I'm into a guy who can take charge, pick me up, pull my hair, and be vocal about what he wants. But I also really love having sex outside. I also like nice lips on a guy. That's kind of my thing. And that's a very common answer. This is also a really good question to ask once the conversation is going in a sexual direction, because it'll get girls to really, really open up, right? And you can play into their fantasy. So I say, perfect. Perhaps toss you on the bed, tease you until you're begging for his cock, glide his tongue across your clit, then have his way with you. So I'm talking in the third person. I say, outdoors is hot too. She says, well, fuck, that was descriptive, haha. I say, you enjoyed it though. She says, you could say that. And here I make a more serious statement. I say, I bet we'd have a lot of fun together. She says, I agree. And then here I say, someone's up past their bedtime. Right? So again, I'm alternating very straightforward questions, like asking her about herself. It doesn't always have to be sexual, but I'm usually using sexual questions here with flirty statements and humor and sexual innuendos, right? You can do the same thing with just regular get-to-know-you questions. So, what are you up to this weekend? She says, I'm just going out with the girlfriends and, we're doing wine tasting. I'll be like, you're going to get into some trouble drinking and driving, right? Again, you're alternating humor with serious get-to-know-you stuff. Next one is always set up the date optimally. Guys make this common mistake is they'll just rush to the close. So the girl's, interested in the conversation, and the guy says, hey, you want to get together tomorrow night at 8 o'clock? And that's highly suboptimal. So think about it. Let's say that you're trying to get me to do a YouTube video with you. What do you think is going to be higher of a response rate? If you say, hey, Alex, are you free to do a video tomorrow night, 8 p.m.? Or you say, hey, Alex, we should do a collab sometime soon. So you always want to first soft close the girl. Once she agrees to the soft close, which most girls will, if you did a good job so far leading to the conversation, following the other tips I mentioned, then you can figure out her schedule, and only then do you hard close. So let's take a look at an example. So this is a girl I met from Cold Approach. We talked for like 5-10 minutes. I think we made out briefly. I was coming home from, I think a bar or something like that, and she was basically interviewing for a job. So I say, did you get the job? She says, hello, yes, I got it. We'll start tomorrow night. How are you? And here I say, must have been really lucky kiss then. We should celebrate. So again, doing the same thing here. I'm alternating serious questions with humor and flirting. She says, I guess your kiss was a lucky charm. I think we should celebrate. Say, do you like wine? I love wine and vodka. And you? I say, I'm Russian, so vodka is in my blood. Let's spill a bottle of wine on my romantic balcony. So here's the soft close, right? And I kind of set up for it. So do you like wine? She answers, and then I go for the soft close. Says, I knew that, hon, about the vodka. That sounds very pleasing offer. When would you be able to share wine with me? Now, since she actually asked me that question, I just try to go for the same night close, right? Which is you don't want to do often, but when a girl's giving you the signs like she is here, then you want to try to meet up with her that same night if you're free. I say, you feeling spontaneous tonight? She says, would love to, but since tomorrow I'll be there working tonight, need to take care of things at home, you should come and visit me. So here she's trying to get me over her place, right? But again, I'm kind of lazy, so I want to get her over my place. I say, I understand. Around what time do you finish tomorrow? She says 3 a.m. Maybe you can see you before I start at 10 p.m. I say, yes, say 8 p.m. This is the hard close. She says, that sounds good to me, but if can't make it, we'll let you know. Perfect, great. And then the next day, I re-engage her. Hola, Linda. Hola, guapa. How are you? It means, hey, handsome, how are you doing? I say, good, minus some random neck pain. See you at 8 p.m., right? I'm confirming. And then she says, yes, nice, see you later then. And then finally, hi there, I'm getting ready now, so she'll be leaving home around 8 p.m. So bam, I want a meeting up with her. We hook up within 15 minutes. But again, most of the work was already done before the date even started, which leads me nicely into the next iron rule, is you want to always confirm the date. I see some red pillars say things like, oh, confirming the date is low value, just show up to the date and assume she's going to be there. That is the dumbest thing you can do. If you don't confirm the date, the majority of girls will think you're not interested or you're flaking on her, and what she will do is she will preemptively flake on you, because no one likes feeling flaked on. So if she feels like you're not serious about going on a date with her, or you're going to flake on her, she'll just make plans with someone else, either another guy or her girlfriend. That's why it's essential to always confirm the date. So here's how I always confirm the date. Day of the date, I will, well, actually, so this is the night before. So I'll send her a cute photo of my dog, and she's like, oh, he's so cute. He says he's real excited to meet you. So I'm kind of hinting at the fact that we have a date tomorrow. I call it a playful reminder. She says, tell him I'm excited to meet his owner. And the next day, day of the day, I say, hola, Linda. She says, hola, hey, still good for tonight. And that's how I always confirm. I start the conversation with something unrelated, and then I just say, hey, still good for tonight. She says, hey, yes, where are we going? And here I'm just talking about romantic balcony. Here's another one. I open the girl day of the day. Hola, Linda. She says, hola, more. I say, hey, still good for tonight. She says, actually, I got my period today, so haha. And here's how you respond to that. I'd say, it's okay, I'm a man, the right fairy doesn't bother me. And then bam, what time are you thinking, right? And here I set up the date. So you always want to set up the date optimally and then confirm it. Next is going to be strategically use takeaways to reignite the conversation. So quite often when you're texting a girl, especially a hot girl, she'll just randomly ghost, she'll randomly drop off, she won't respond, especially when you're going for the meetup, right? If you give up every time that happens, you're going to miss out on a lot of opportunities. So quite often you have to re-engage the conversation and be a little persistent, especially with the hotter girls. And the best way to do that is by using takeaways. So instead of chasing the girl more, you say, hey, what are you doing tonight? She doesn't respond. You send her like 3 question marks, you hit her with a takeaway. Here's some examples. So me and this girl are going, I say, well, I would prefer talking in real life, and she doesn't respond. So I hit her with this soft takeaway. If you're into that sort of thing, she says, I am, then let's get together sometime soon, of course, right? So you can see that I went from her not responding to me basically soft closing for the date within 2 messages by using a takeaway. Here's another one. And this is a much more harsh takeaway. So the severity of the takeaway has to be appropriate for the situation. Meaning if it's the first time the girl doesn't respond, you don't want to hit her with what I do in the screenshot. However, if she has a pattern, she doesn't respond to multiple texts, this is what you do. So I say, yo, sex, she says, hola, what time will you be free tonight? So we had a date set up, she's not responding. I send her another takeaway that says, well, I tried. She doesn't respond. So here I send her a very harsh takeaway. I say, I genuinely didn't take you for the flaky type. And she's like, I'm not, I'm sorry. And that's a really good text if a girl's just not responding, you've tried everything, because no girl wants to be known as the flaky type. And here's the final takeaway. So the girl says, this is an interesting title, sex coach, share some tips. I playfully tease her, I say, are you struggling in this department? She says, never. And I say, good, I can always share a few secrets during our date. And she doesn't respond. I wait a few days and I hit her with this really good takeaway for a situation where the girl's not responding to the date. I say, if you're too nervous, I don't understand. Again, no girl wants to seem like she's nervous. She says, maybe I am a little bit, haha, what are you doing tonight? And bam, date is back on. All right, the next one is always text with a purpose. Again, very common mistake guys make is they'll just text the girl like, hey, what are you doing? What's up? They'll just send her a bunch of texts, right? But they never move things forward. You want to have a purpose. And your purpose is essentially get the girl on a date. Your purpose could be, for example, to screen the girl. Your purpose could be to sexualize the conversation. But the end goal is to get the girl on a date. And you have to have your purpose in mind. So here's an example of a texting conversation where the guy did not know what his purpose was. So he's on the left and he's saying, good morning, hope you have a good day. She says, thanks. So how was work? What are you up to? Again, these are pointless texts. She says, still working. Gym later, question mark? Another pointless text. She says, yep. How was your workout? What's for dinner? Again, there's no purpose here. He's not moving things forward. These are just random questions. And this is kind of an extreme example. The girl says, the convo sucks and I'm busy. Bye. Now, let me show you an example of how to text with purpose from the opener. Hey, I like your style, which is a classic copy and paste opener you can use if you can't think of something unique to comment about the girl's photos. She says, haha, thanks, same to you. Together with the powers combined. She says, laughing emoji, how's your hump day going? So again, it's okay to ask her some get to know you questions, but you gotta be moving things forward. So it's all right, how's yours? I'm working still. He says, it's amazing, just got done with a killer workout, looking sharp for a romantic date. So hinting at the date, moving things forward. Haha, nice. Tell me what's happening so I can be ready too. In the next couple of days, of course, I'm sure you look fine already. Just got to pick out a cute dress. Haha, thank you. I'll work on picking out a cute dress. Ever been to when the heat gives the venue? I haven't. I've barely been out since Rona happened. Just recently did I start eating out inside restaurants. He says, don't worry, I got you. We shall grab drinks there, flirt with each other, make each other blush. Seductive eye contact and voice may or may not be included. Not the biggest fan of text like that, but it works pretty well. She says, okay, I like the plan. Should be your number for romance arrangement purposes. This is just 3 screenshots, but he took things from the opener to actually setting up the date, right? You always want to be moving things forward. And next is you want to avoid being overly gaming. Again, this is a common mistake guys in the pickup community make. They're like, hey, I don't want to be boring. So then they go too far in the other direction and they become overly gaming. It's just overly try hard. It just looks like, yeah, what is this guy doing? He's just trying too hard. So let me show you an example of this. So he likes the girl's photo and he says, like for the meek, submissive look. Okay, this in of itself could potentially work with the right girl, but here's where the problems begin. She says, you got it all wrong. He says, no, it goes well with your bio, like you know it. So this is like just a random text, like out of context, and it's overly gamey. So she says, you got it all wrong. I would respond with, how so? What am I wrong about, right? You want to follow through on what the girl's saying. She says, my bio gives off the meek, submissive look. And he says, yes, I could tell you a bit about yourself. You're the type who has met too many subpar guys, no offense. Okay, really random. She's like, if that's the case, then how do I know you're not one of them? No offense. So she's teasing him, shit-testing him. And then he responds by saying first, I am right or I am right. Again, just a stupid text. Here's probably what I would say. Don't worry, I have 5 stars on Yelp, right? Responding to her shit test with humor. She says that makes 0 sense, which kind of doesn't. He says, you didn't deny you're craving a dominant guy, the type that likes to give a spanking and pulling your hair. Again, he's just being overly gaming, just pulling lines out of his ass, right? She says, you don't look like the type of guy who could dominate me. So how would I respond to that? I would say, are you doubting my skills? But instead he says, trust me, you'll see on our date night, what's your biggest fantasy? So here she's giving him non-compliance. You don't want to reward non-compliance by asking her questions. She says, I think it's a little presumptuous to think you're getting a date, don't you? And yeah, this is going downhill fast. And he says, more like spontaneous. Again, doesn't make any sense. She says, I feel like you don't know what spontaneous means. So she's just going in on him, right? And again, the way to respond to that is not with more gamey lines, is to give her some shit back. So when she says, I think it's a little presumptuous to think that you're getting a date, don't you? I would just reply, nope. That's it. Short and sweet. That's how you pass that shit test. He says, it means that we'll exchange numbers and we'll get together over a bottle of wine. Again, he's escalating on non-compliance, which you never want to do. She says, not according to the dictionary. It's fine. Dictionaries aside, you're funny and I think we'd have a fun date. Why is he rewarding her? He's saying she's funny and we have a fun date. All she's done is give him non-compliance and make fun of it, right? Again, so there's a lot of things off here, but essentially he's being overly gamey and he's just using lines out of context. All right, hopefully you guys found this video valuable. If you want to really level up your text game and game in general, then check out our course, The Ultimate Dating Blueprint 2.0. To celebrate hitting 200K on YouTube, we're running our biggest flash sale ever. It's going to be valid for another 24 hours, so you don't want to miss out on that. Link in description to learn more.